Hi there, my name is Cupicate, and welcome back to clangen with our clan, Willow Clan. Now last time something very important happened. Our two medicine cats received a vision. Together they determined what it was, and it turned out that Ridge Goose, who had passed just recently, had come to them from StarClan and showed them some glowing mushrooms that were growing on his grave. And when they went to investigate, there were, in fact, mushrooms growing on his grave. Now that our two medicine cats have returned back to camp, they immediately call upon Starling Star and River Jay for a meeting. Starling Star is a little skeptical. She hasn't really said anything one way or another. All she says is, let's wait. We'll work on setting out patrols specifically to guard the mushrooms in case they are important. But I wouldn't run into a decision with them just yet. However, River Jay believes that these mushrooms could potentially be a cure. Because after all, why would StarClan lead the cats astray? And she has a good point. After all, what they saw was a star-dappled ridge goose of light, of starlight, twinkling, dancing upon the grave. It was truly a message from StarClan. So she has hope. Starling Star agrees that she can take one of the mushrooms once they have grown a little larger and see if it does anything to help ease the pain of those infected. But until then, the mushrooms will remain guarded. Now that there has been a discussion, Starling Star agrees that after 2 moons of allowing the mushrooms to grow, she would consider using them for a medicine. So we're going to go through 2 moons of patrols to see if anything else happens, if there's any other visions. On the 54th moon, the heat in the air has risen. The humidity makes it even worse. Having the cats surrounded by water, it is very humid where they are within the swamps and the mire. Unfortunately, this heat had gotten to Arkpaw, who had pushed themselves too hard, and they pass away in the night in their sleep. The past moon, Arkpaw has taken their place in StarClan. Willow Clan mourns their loss, and their clanmates will miss the spot they took up in their lives. Moments of their life are shared in stories around the circle of mourners as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. Now that Crested Whisker is cured and all better, she is so excited to take her apprentice out for the first time, and she has decided to take her on a training trip. This will be kind of training for Crested Whisker as well, having been out of it for quite a long time. And they have an amazing practice session where they share the best tips and tricks. Wisteria Paw is a boy, by the way, not a girl, and is acting angsty. Beach Paw, who is a fan favorite with that beautiful coat, is now going to go out as well. It looks like Beach Paw had a vision and described this vision to Firestripe, who sort of eased Beach Paw, telling them it's all right. Sometimes StarClan does reach out to others besides medicine cats when they have something they need to say. Beach Paw describes a vision of Ridge Goose dancing upon his own grave. But then Ridge Goose moved over to Iris Star's grave. But her grave looks like there's black ooze over it, bubbling up from the muck and the mud that she's buried underneath. Ridge Goose dances around it for a moment and then steps in the middle of it, presenting a glowing mushroom. And suddenly, the black ooze dissipates, and it looks just like Ridge Goose's grave. Firestripe isn't sure that this is important, as the vision of the medicine cats was not shared with the rest of the clan. However, Firestripe does know about the glowing mushrooms on Ridge Goose's grave. Firestripe decides this message needs to be given to Starling Star. Beachpaw and Firestripe walk into Starling Star's den. Firestripe encourages for Beachpaw to tell his story, his vision, his dream even, to the leader. She is taken aback because she knows exactly what the medicine cat's vision was, and she's surprised that Beachpaw, such a young apprentice, would be given such an important message as well. She decides to have Riverjay join, and once again, Beachpaw recites exactly what his vision was. So now the cats decide to wait and have patrols for Iris Star's grave as well. Oh, this breaks my heart! So Sable Dust and Boo Rose go out on a patrol near the border, and right across from where the Thunder Path is, they see a cat. They find a well-groomed kitty pet collapsed by the Thunder Path, wailing for their two legs to come back. Sable Dust comforts them and asks them why their two legs have left them. The only explanation that they can give is that they've been sick recently and perhaps too much of a burden. Sable Dust offers the former kitty pet a place in Willow Clan till they're better at least. They tentatively accept, looking longingly back to the Thunder Path. So it looks like we have had a kitty pet join the clan who was abandoned by their two legs. So here is Gravy, a female, agouti-pelted, long-furred cat with copper eyes. She is righteous and a good speaker, and she has a blue ribbon tied around her neck. She is sick currently, and so the medicine cats are looking over her. We will have to roll to see if the sickness that she has is the one that we're all afraid of. It is not. So Gravy is just sick with something a little different, but she is not sick with our mushroom curse. Once again, the medicine cats are out and discussing visions. Milkspot and Riverjay discuss a vision in particular that Riverjay had. It is so similar to the last few visions that have been had, even from Beachpaw, who is not a medicine cat. Again, she sees Ridge Goose prancing and dancing over his own grave. The mushrooms seem a little bigger now in her vision, and Riverjay plucks the mushroom from his grave and dances over to Iris Star's grave. Her grave is covered in black ooze and muck, bubbling with disgusting gases popping out of it. And he places the mushroom down onto the grave, and the muck dissipates, almost as if it turns to smoke and goes into the air, like a puff of clouds seeping into the sky. And so Riverjay is wondering if this isn't something for the living, but something for the dead. But the mushrooms on Ridge Goose's grave are too small to do anything with, and so she decides to wait. It is now the 55th moon. Unfortunately, Gravy, the kitty pet who was abandoned by her two legs, had red cough, and she didn't survive. But she was surrounded by cats. Even though they were strangers, these cats still comforted her. They still tried to help her, and so she did not die alone. She still died with the comfort of her own kind, who stayed with her as she took her last breath, something her two legs couldn't seem to do. But now that it is the 55th moon, I'm gonna roll to see if our infection has spread. It has not. I'm being lucky with these rolls so far. Now that 2 moons have passed, the mushrooms on Ridge Goose's grave have gotten large enough for harvest. And so Riverjay decides to reenact exactly what Ridge Goose did in her vision. She plucks one of the glowing mushrooms from Ridge Goose's grave. She walks over to Iris Star's grave, which to her looks like any other grave, and she places it, saying a small prayer to Iris Star. She's not entirely sure why this has happened, but she does have her suspicions. She just can't bring herself to say out loud what her fears are. that Iris Star is in the dark forest. Patrols have continued, and Firestripe takes on his own apprentice, Beach Paw, but also Ermine Paw, while their mentor recovers in the medicine den. Ermine Paw, who hasn't been trained as long, catches a rabbit, but unfortunately this rabbit seems to have been poisoned. And so now Melting Heart, River Jay, and Elrun are very sick. Because this has happened, I'm going to roll to see if it's possible that this rabbit had the disease. And it did. I'm going to roll for each cat now to see which one gets infected from the poisoned blood. Melting Heart doesn't get poisoned, probably due to the fact that he has already survived the sickness once and is therefore immune. River Jay also does not get infected. However, Elrun, the deputy, she has become infected with the curse. While on patrol, Starling Star, Boo Rose, and Chip Fawn find a loner who seems to be injured in their path. The loner tries to draw themselves up from their approach out of fear, but hisses out in pain. Starling Star offers to bring them to camp. They seem hesitant, but agree as they are too injured to survive on their own. And so now we have Naja. Naja is an adult female with long fur, the single stripe pelt, pale green eyes. She's a righteous warrior, good fighter with competent experience. And now on the 56th moon, this is a happy occasion as Jump Pelt sits in the crowd, chest puffed out in pride as they watch Ermine Paw be named Ermine Fur and honored for their affection. They consider themselves lucky to have been able to train such an amazing young cat and look forward to seeing the warrior they become. So Crested Whisker and Wisteria Paw went out on a hunting patrol. And in a burrow where they were hoping to find some prey was a wolverine. Now Wisteria Paw did not die, but he did get a major leg injury, mangled leg. I don't like seeing that one. I've seen the mangled leg injury kill so many cats. So while Chip Fawn and Starling Star went out to talk about the days when they were younger, they end up patrolling the border and they come across an abandoned kit. They end up taking the kit back to the clan, and they did survive, so little Goose Kit has joined our clan. And here's little Goose Kit! A young male with a two-colored short pelt, gray eyes, and he's really polite. I did not see that coming. So on top of everything that is going on with our cats and struggling with this curse of the wilted willow, Sparrow Clan has decided to war against our clan. Because the clans are at war, all of the cats are trying to be careful, but they are also trying to make sure they get plenty of food for the warriors who may have to fight for their lives against this other clan. Firestripe and Beach Paw go out to try and get food to stock up for the rest of the warriors, but unfortunately, Beach Paw gets stuck in a fight with a fox over some food, and they ended up getting a bite wound. Starling Star goes out alone to do some soul searching. As she is out trying to hunt for her clan, she gets caught in the snows and ends up being buried in it. She prays out to StarClan for help, but StarClan does not answer her, and she loses a life in the snow. Because there is a war going on, Elrun, the deputy, decides to lead the medicine cats and guard them out while they collect what herbs they can in the snow-covered ground. Elrun, while out, talks about a vision that they had involving Iris Star. Elrun saw in this vision Iris Star dancing on her grave. She looked healthy and happy. Her body was not covered in mushrooms. In fact, she looked like she belonged to starlight. And she jumped into the air and jumped again and jumped again and jumped so high and shot up like a shooting star. And so Iris Star was guided up to StarClan because of the mushroom placed upon her grave. Both River Jay and Milk Spot were very, very hopeful that that is what this vision meant. They can't be for sure, of course, but knowing that Iris Star is in StarClan gives them hope. They go to tell Starling Star, who is overjoyed by the news. It is now the 48th moon, and it is another fabulous moon with many ceremonies. Furled Paw is so sure of their skill as a medicine cat that they ask to choose their own name. While it may not be tradition, no one can think of a better fitting name for them than the one they chose themselves, and welcome Furled Scratch warmly as a full medicine cat. Firestripe gives Beach Paw a friendly nudge when the leader calls the young cat's name. They watch with pride as Beach Paw steps forward to receive their new name, Beach Skip, and are honored for their dedication. I love that name. Eager to learn the best ways to help their clan thrive, Goosepaw excitedly touches noses with Starling Star, the leader. She decides after losing a life in the last moon that she wishes to take on a mentor again. And our little Goosepaw, who she had saved from certain death, will be her apprentice. And now Aster Moon has stuck dry herbs in their fur, thinking that it could possibly keep the sickness away. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just rolled a 94% to cure Sable Dust. Sable Dust has now been cured. As is tradition, Starling Star sends out Goosepaw, her apprentice, on their own for the first patrol. This is something that Iris Star started, and Starling Star cannot bring herself to break the tradition, even though she worriedly sends Goosepaw out on their own. Goosepaw hears distant howling and wonders whether to investigate the noise. The noise leads them to a coyote that's busy stripping the last of the meat from a carcass. They wait till the coyote leaves, hoping to pick up any leftovers, but unfortunately their bones have been thoroughly cleaned. However, Goosepaw did survive. That's what I was more worried about. On the next patrol, Jump Pelt or Mean Fur and Flickerbird all go and patrol the border. The patrol finds a kitty pet and decides to discuss with them the ways of clan life. It doesn't take much convincing, and the kitty pet is more than happy to join the clan. And now we have Fireball as one of our clan mates. Where is Fireball? Here they are. Oh my gosh, look at that fabulous collar. So Fireball is an adult female cat with long fur and a rosette pelt. She has cobalt eyes. She's very compassionate, extremely smart, and she has meh experience, but that's probably because she's a kitty pet. But look at her, she's beautiful. Our clan continues to grow as Naja, Melting Heart, and Hailcut all go on a border patrol. They come across a loner who is being chased by a large dog. But Yaja, with her experience, yowls and chases after the dog, who now looks alarmed and abandons the chase. The loner is ruffled but unharmed and is amazed by the display. After some chatting, they decide to join. So now we have little Nikki, who has also joined the clan. Here is little Nikki, another female, young adult female, with long fur, a ticked pelt, and pale yellow eyes. She's extremely compassionate, very smart, with a little bit of experience. Formerly a kitty pet. Interesting. But with that is all the time that I have for this episode. We have had many newcomers join. Oh, I do need to roll. That is how we'll finish it off. I'm going to roll for little Nikki, and I'm going to roll for Fireball to see if they have been infected when they come into the clan. So Fireball was not infected, but little Nikki was, unfortunately. And now that is all the time I have. Like I said, a lot has happened. Our clan is getting bigger. And because we're getting bigger, I am going to increase the odds that we get infected cats. Because the more cats we have, the easier it is for disease to be passed from one cat to another. But we won't do that until the next episode. I hope you liked this one. If you did, tickle and poke that like button, subscribe to join our family if you haven't already, and jingle the bell to get notified of when I post more clangen videos. Thanks again for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you next week for more of Willow Clan. Bye!